What's up, everybody? I'm Brian with Wikia, and we are here with the creators of The Legend of Korra. What's up, guys?
Not much. Good to see you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, I'm Mike DiMartino.
I'm Brian Knitsko.
All right, guys, we've got some great questions here from the super fans on avatar.wikia.com. First, I want to just go ahead and address the elephant in the room, or the elephant rat hybrid, whatever it is. Sure. I know you guys talked about this in your panel earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and just see if we could get some reassurance for our fans on the site. Can you talk a little bit about the move to digital for the show?
Sure. Yeah. Should I just take this? All right. Sure. I'm taking it from you. Yeah, the thing we want everyone to know is that, like, creatively, nothing has changed. Show's not canceled. Book 4 is being made as we speak, and and will be out there. We don't know when exactly yet, but yeah, it's just kind of like the changing landscape of television and online media and everything that's happening these days. And I mean, kind of fortunately, we're at least popular online, so so that's good for the future of the show. And hopefully a lot of our fans are already watching it online, I think. So
yeah, we always joke, like, if the trend is moving from one area to another, like, it's good to be more popular where things are moving. And the show's Korra's been huge online from the get-go. Yeah, it struggled. It did pretty well on Saturday mornings, but they didn't keep it there, and they kind of moved it around. And the show skews a bit older than the typical Nick audience, so it just hasn't found its audience on the network. But the audience online is just rabid. I mean, as you guys, you work with the fans online, so the network's known this for a while. They've been talking about doing this for a while. But there was a quick change of plans, and they tried it on air again, and it just didn't do well. And so they decided to go with the digital thing. So even though we knew it was headed that way, we were surprised they were going to put it on the air, and then we were surprised they were taking it off. So it's been a bumpy summer, But still, the digital streaming, the digital downloads, and all that stuff on the Nick app and then other services, it's just always done so well. So. And it does really well internationally. So we don't have all the answers of what this means for international, but we suspect it's just really going to be just the same, for them.
Nice. All right, let's geek out a little bit. Take things a little lighter here. Here's a first fan question. This is from Waterspout. He says,
I know Waterspout. We go way back.
Nice. One of the things we all enjoy as a community are the Easter eggs on the show. Do you guys have favorite sort of subtle references that you've thrown into the episodes?
I don't know if they're subtle.
Yeah, the recent not-so-subtle one was that I was even surprised when I read the draft from the writers, was that they named the chef's smoothie after me. The Knitsko was the Kale Nutsko. Right. And I was like a fan, surprised to see that. Other ones?
What else? I mean, this is not an Easter egg at all, but like bringing Zuko back, was really fun. It's more like those kind of things, like nods to the old series. I mean, sometimes they're little nods, sometimes they're big nods, like bringing Zuko back.
Sometimes they're unintentional. There's a whole
there's
this whole Tumblr blog that's called Avatar Parallels that I've seen from time to time, and it's amazing. It's like some of the stuff's intentional. We do mean to like directly reference what we did in the old series, either some martial arts or something. So much of it is just the nature of our writing and storyboarding, or it's just coincidence. But I don't know if it's a team of people or one person, but they piece together these comparisons, and it's awesome. And they're really entertaining for us to see. So yes, we're definitely putting in some Easter eggs and references, but like the fans are like giving it back to us, like showing us what's there.
Yeah. The community on our site just loves chronicling all this stuff, right? So we have this huge database. What's your internal sort of method of keeping track of the mythology as you're creating it? What does that look like for you guys?
We go to Avatar Wiki.
Yeah, I've been quite impressed with the breadth and amount of cataloging and knowledge on Wikia. It truly, like, there will be, especially like for the comic books we're doing now, there's stuff where it's like, what, wait, who is that character again? Like, he appeared in one episode in this one thing, and it's
like George R.R. Martin having that.
Yeah, it's super helpful. I mean,
like
most of the stuff is in our head, but there's definitely stuff from especially the old, when we're referencing the old series, where it's like, that was 8 years ago. I don't know.
Well, we interact with the material really differently than the fans do, because we obviously see it over and over and over, drafts of scripts over and over, storyboards, going through revisions, animatics, animation, retakes, editing. We comb over it every frame, but then we have to just we mix the show. We're just like, all right, let it go. It's like you have to clear the hard drive to make room, because we at one point were working on 30 episodes at one time. So I don't have time to sit and reminisce in my brain about what Aang and Zuko might have done on our trip. So I don't focus on that stuff. But then I'll be in the kitchen getting some water, and they'll be playing it on Nicktoons, and I'm like, oh, weird. It's like deja vu. I see this thing that I once knew down to the frame, but I haven't thought about in many years.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go really deep here for a second. You guys, I'm just going to totally read this question. This is from Legendary Super Saiya Gen 4.
All right.
Nice. He says, right? Could you explain the origins of bending so that everyone won't be confused? In TLA, they said bending originated with dragons, sky bison, the moon, and badger moles. In LOK, we see people getting their bending from giant elemental lion turtles. Was this a retcon, or is there another explanation?
There was not a retcon.
No, what in Avatar: The Last Airbender, you're seeing these cultures' legends. These are their origin myths, but they're not necessarily, much like human ones, always based in fact. They're cultural legends passed on, they're myths. In Korra, you're seeing the actual flashback. I mean, this is fair to say, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the way there is a very short scene in the Avatar 1 story where you see Wan kind of training with the dragon. And the idea was that, yes, the lion turtle gave the kind of elemental powers to people, but then they kind of mastered it through watching animals and the sky bison or the dragon and stuff. So the two kind of are both correct, but they didn't get it from the sky bison, or they didn't get it from the dragon, but they learned from watching the different animals. So hope that clears it up.
I think so. All right, I want to shift gears here for a second. On Wikia, we've got this cool new feature where it's called Wikia Maps at maps.wikia.com, where people can go and visually annotate the fictional worlds that they're big fans of. So here's a question from Macy K. Ost. He wants to know, will we see parts of the United Republic other than Republic City, maybe some of the towns featured in the comic?
No.
You do see a little bit of the...
You see more of the countries.
Yeah, more of the countryside, but we don't deal with that specific town that's in the Yudao city, which is in the comics. We don't deal with that one specifically, but the idea behind the Rift, the current comic book that's out, is that that town with the refinery and stuff is like the origins of the very early origins of Republic City. So,
what I like about this interview is usually we do these interviews, we give these in-depth answers, and then we just get asked the same questions over again, and we're like, that interview's on the internet. You could find it and you could read it, but with this one, every word will be cataloged into a database. Cool. So yeah, I like it.
Nice. Okay, while we're talking about geography, if you could live anywhere in the Avatar Korra universe, where would you live?
Jiaofu. Jiaofu is good to me. We based it on Lake Louise in Banff National Park in Canada, and so instead of a valley there, in real life there's a lake there, But where the city is nestled was based on the mountains there. We had gone on just a trip shooting some photography, and we shot photos there. So. Beautiful place, and it's cool. Look, I love Art Deco, so yeah, I could dig live. I'd wear the green robes and everything, and have the big necklace.
Mike, what about you?
Zafu is definitely one of my new favorite places, but I kind of would be into Air Temple Island a little bit. It's out of the way, But you still got the city there if you want to go in for some, some dinner or something one night, taking a show. But then you take the boat back and be real nice and peaceful out there. So seems like a cool place to be.
Nice. All right, you mentioned the Rift.
Yes.
The third part's coming out in November, is that right?
I think so, but don't quote me.
Do you have any plans? Can you talk about any comic plans after that?
Yeah, there are.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are plans to continue the that series with the original series characters. Same writer, Gene Yang, is going to be on it, and the artist Guru Hiro are going to be drawing and coloring it. And so we're psyched that they're going to continue with those because we really feel like those are a cool extension of the world and the series, and they feel like the show to us. So. Yep. Oh, sorry.
All right, we have we've got another final question here. This is from Bomochu, who's a fan of the hybrid animals. Do you have a favorite hybrid animal? And if you could be any hybrid animal, which one would you be?
All right, I got that. For me is
You can create your own right here on the spot.
I like the polar bear dog. It was the first one I drew for the entire Avatar universe was the polar bear dog. And the current design of Naga is based on our dogs. So when I see Naga and when she's really on model and she looks really good, it just looks like my dog on TV, so I get really excited. And which one would I like to be? Maybe a flying lemur. I don't know. I'm pretty fond of lemurs. The bison are cool too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something that flies.
Yeah, I'm totally down. I think probably my favorites would be the flying bison. They're just big and cuddly, and you can take them on trips. They could take you places, and it'd be awesome.
They make good beds too.
Yeah.
And snuggle up with them.
All right, thanks you guys for being with us today. We can't wait to see more of the show online.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.